Hello, digital artists. This video is going to introduce you to step number 3, how to add color and background to your design. This tutorial is for students who have already finished with their lettering and their container shape and are just working on adding color and background to make their artwork stand out and really to bring all of the elements together. So color can be, or background and color can be a very useful tool for grabbing people's attention and also for creating a mood in your artwork. And there are kind of 3 different ways that you can choose to color the background or letters of your artwork. The first way is some sort of patterned background, whether it's a repeating background like bricks or it's just a simple repeating picture. The key here is that it is a pattern. So it's kind of more of an all-over design. It doesn't stand out. It doesn't detract from your letters. It kind of fades into the background because it's a repetitive pattern. Patterns are great for creating rhythm in your artwork and also for creating a little pizzazz. But the key with pattern is you do not want them to be so busy that they distract from your letters. The other choices for backgrounds are texture, where you're adding some sort of texture, whether it's rough, smooth, paint. Technically, pattern is a type of texture, but just to kind of illustrate, it's a slightly different texture, and you're kind of going with trying to create that edgy feel or that bubbly feel or some sort of texture feeling behind your letters or inside your letters. And then the last and final way is adding some sort of picture background that matches the theme of the artwork or creates kind of the natural environment that the animal or object would be in. So with that, I just want to switch over to Gravit and show you how to do each one of these designs. Alright, so we are here in Gravit. I have my design, I've got my letters outlined, and I've got my heart shape. The one thing I want to do just to kind of help, because you have a ton of shapes over here in your layers panel, I'm going to actually select all of my letters and my outline shape, and I will right click and group selection. And now I have one shape called heart letters. And so inside this heart, if I hit this little down arrow, I have a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to just take actually the outline and just remove it from the group. So to do that, you just kind of drag it out of the group and put it above. Ta-da. So now I have like heart letters and heart shape. I'll put it back below. It's just easy way to organize because now I have just my letters, just my shape. And that's just helpful for getting organized with your background. But then to add a background, you're just going to draw a rectangle that fills the whole background. And then the steps for a background, whether you're doing a pattern, texture, or a photograph, are exactly the same. Inside this fill shape, I'm going to change it from a color fill to a texture fill. Whether you're doing a pattern, texture, or a single picture, it's the exact same process. Now you want to choose a picture. So when you're looking for a background, so I'll kind of Google roses. And I'll look for an image of roses. And there's a lot of good ones, but I kind of like this one because it's more of a pattern background. And I will just save this image to my computer so that I can find it at a later date. I already have it here, but I'll just save it again. And there it is. So now if I go back to my picture, I will choose an image and I will find that rose picture. Here we go. Ta-da. Open. And right now it's set up as a texture. So one of the things you're going to notice is the tiling is turned on. And now with tiling, the higher this number is, the bigger each individual tile is. If I turn this way down, it will repeat it like with little tiny textures. So that is how you would create a more detailed pattern or texture. If you don't like it to be repeated at all, you can turn it from tile to fill. And what that will do is it'll actually like stretch the picture out and enlarge it to fill the entire box. Don't worry about the advanced features because that just kind of gets into how it's placed. So again, if you decide during your design you don't really like this, you can always go back and just choose a different image, find a different picture online, add maybe a more of a rough painterly texture or a paper or a canvas texture. All of these are just found by Googling texture, wood texture, paper texture, canvas texture, and looking for something that doesn't have a watermark. So that is how you would add a background. The only thing I do want to show you is, so then I take this rectangle and I'll just double click and title it background. I'm going to move it below my heart shapes. If I want to change and play with the color of these roses, I'm going to go down to Special Effects and go to Color Adjust. And now this will allow me to maybe make them darker, make them lighter. I can also, if I go to Hue, I could make them pink. I could make them yellow. I could make them more orangey, more blue. I don't know why you would want blue flowers. If I want them to be like black and white, instead of playing with the hue, set that to 0, I would turn the saturation down to 0. And now I have a black and white, or I could pick kind of like a more classic vintage look by doing like a very low, like saturation at 50. And then I could tint this to kind of be a little more of a brown. So now I have more of like a vintage background. So that is how you would add a background color. The only thing that I would want to play with now is just the colors of my letters to stand out against the background. You can do it individually, or if you press Shift and you click each individual letter, so I can do like I could do learn and select each individual letter and play with the color of just that word. I feel like it looks good with like, especially with this background, it would look better with like a bright color because the bright color would stand out against the background. And if I like that color and I want to apply it to multiple words, I would just select a couple other words and then use my eyedropper and just pick that letter up. So that would be how you would repeat a color from multiple words. So that is the step for how to add a background. If you have any issues with this step, please reach out to me and we can schedule a time during office hours to go over this. Hope everybody's safe and well and have a great day.